But here is a story that I heard yesterday, a video by a rabbi called, I've never heard of this rabbi before, but he's very good, very excellent, from Rabbi Yaakov Asher Sinclair. Rabbi Yaakov Asher Sinclair. Very simple, very deep, very accurate. And the story goes like this. And he has other short videos on which all that I saw were excellent. Gives a good mention for Mashiach also, which that's our only hope is Mashiach. Okay, so this Rabbi Yaakov Asher Sinclair, he's the one that told the story, and I'm retelling the story. Before World War II, the English and the Germans, Nazi Germany, they were sort of on good terms. I guess diplomatic connections they had with each other. This was before 1939 when the Germans, the Nazis attacked Poland, and that began the whole thing. Anyway, so King George VI, he must have sensed, I don't know the whole history of it, but he must have sensed, I mean, he heard the rhetoric that Hitler wants to kill the Jews. So he arranged that, what is it, 6,000 children or 9,000 children? I'm sorry, I don't remember. Let's say 9,000 children. 9,000 children, Jewish children, were sent by train out of Germany. They were saved from Germany itself. And maybe the idea was that their parents would follow them or whatever, but the parents sensed that things weren't good. In any case, there were all these children, right? So there was children. 9,000 of them, 6,000 of them, I don't remember. Let's say 6,000. Okay, so 6,000. So these children were put in different institutions and different places until, they would be safe until things got clarified, whatever. And then when the war broke out, so at least these children were safe. Okay, so the word got out that King George himself was going to visit all these children. He wanted to visit them. So they gathered all the children together. What? How many did I say? 6,000 of them? I'm sorry, I forgot the number. We gathered all these children together, and the king came in his royal entourage, and he was in a big limousine, and there were guards and everything like that. And they came, and the trumpets were blaring, and the horses were riding. It was all with all the pomp and everything like that. And he was going to visit these children, and so there were big barriers, and everyone was ready. One child broke through the barriers. This child, his name was, where is it? His name was Beryl Gartner. Beryl Gartner, I think. A Jewish kid. And he broke through the barrier. The barrier broke through, a little kid. And he ran up to the king's and started pounding on the door. So, I mean, the guards must have realized that it wasn't a serious threat. It was just a little kid. A little child, maybe, 7, 8 years old. And so the king rolled down his window and he said, I see you really want to talk to me. He said, oh, yes, Your Majesty, please, there's something that I really want. There's something I really need, and only you can help me. Please, Your Majesty. So the king said, okay. I guess he opened up the door. He said, what would you like? And meanwhile, the teachers, these kids or whatever, they sort of would like to have grabbed him, brought him back, but they saw that the king was treating him nicely, and all the guards realized there was no real danger. So he said, please, there's something I would like to. He says, what would you like? What can I help? He said, listen, Your Majesty, there's something that I want to request, and only you can help me. And that is that, I'm here and we're all safe, but my parents are in Germany, and I think about them all the day, and I can't think of anything else. And I'm really, I really want my parents. That I want to be with my mommy and daddy. So the king said, well, what's your name? And he told his secretary that was with him, what is your name? He wrote it down. Where do they live? What's the street? And he said, he told them. And he said, okay. And that the kid went back. So the child, and then the king came, and everybody was, singing God Save the King, whatever they were doing. And they thanked him, and the king gave a speech. And that's it. And the king wanted to see. So, meanwhile, this child, he figures he's going to get punished for this. He's for sure going to get punished. This was a thing too. He wants his parents, but they were told strictly. They were warned by the what it is, the the managers or the caretakers, to act nicely and properly. And the English know what it means to act properly and nicely. Break through barriers. What type of thing. So he figured he was going to get reprimanded. He was going to get, and sure enough, the day came. A week or two later, a week later, so he got called into the principal's office, and the principal said, you broke through the He says, yes, I did. I'm sorry, I did it. I just couldn't hold myself back. So, well, you should know, you made a very big impression on the king. You made a very impression on the king. Your your genuineness, and the king wants to give you a present. So very nice. He said, well, that's really nice. A memento or something like this. He said, yeah, open the door. Opens up his door, and there are his parents. Said, the king found your parents, and he brought them to you. He said, what's the point of the story? It says in the writings of Chabad, we read it, right, in Likkutei Torah, that the king is in the field. The king made himself accessible to everybody. And we just have to ask like little children. And the barriers that are preventing us from the king are our own pessimism and our own how do you say, inferiority complex that we have. We don't know how much the king really loves us. And we want Mashiach desperately. And we have to just burst through everything and say, enough. We want Mashiach now. And the king, which is Hashem, will say, I got a surprise for you. And the door will open, and here it's going to be. That's today's story. Excellent story. You can look up this Rabbi Yaakov Asher Sinclair. He's got a lot of other really good things in store for you if you watch. Have a good day with Mashiach now, God willing. We'll meet again tomorrow morning.